and Connie Kanishi has improved for 17th. But it's still Roberts at the top from Checa, Biaggi and Rossi. The leading Honda team in the championship, if you just take 2 bikes from each team, is Sito Ponzi's squad. They have 71 points. The best team, well, that's Movistar Suzuki. There are only 2 of those bikes. They have 121 points. Marlboro Yamaha have 84 to put them the second team in the pack. Red Bull Yamaha are the 3rd team. 4th is Honda Pons and 5th is Repsol Honda on nearly half of the points of Suzuki, which underlines the point that all 3 of us have been saying, that particularly Randy, that Repsol Honda have got to regroup themselves, and they are indeed regrouping themselves. Let's not take anything away from them. Regrouping themselves after the problems that they had through winter testing with Taddy giving himself a ding on the head, Crivelle fainting a couple of times, and Sete Gibernau all of a sudden, who still hasn't done a full season on a 4. Let's not forget that, folks. He jumped onto a V4 at Mugello last year, which is still not even a year ago. And there's a lot of weight on their shoulders. Michael Doohan is here. He can assist things, but he can't tell them how to ride the things because he hasn't ridden the thing since a year ago. Yeah, and he's admitting that.
Now, for the other thing, Toby, is towards the end of the year, or in the middle of the season, all last year, wasn't it the fact that the Yamaha was faster than the Honda?
In a straight line.
Exactly. So yeah, they made a headway. Honda's always been fastest in the straight line, always. And yet, Yamaha's made an improvement. Now, if you imagine being a rider, and you've been, okay, he's world champion. For sure that number is heavier to carry than any other number out there. But then you come to a race, or the beginning of the season, and your bike's not working very well. Now the weight's even heavier towards you because you want to do so much better than you are doing. And slowly but surely you're going a step backwards. Now all of a sudden everyone says, well, let's relate back to what we know from last year. But in last year, Suzuki and Yamaha were catching up so rapidly, and they've made more improvements to their bikes this year, for this year's season, with Kenny Roberts leading the championship. Another fellow Spanish rider, Carlos Checa, is adding the pressure to Alex Crivelle by not being up there with these guys, and so on. You know, Dennis Noyes and I were talking. You remember when Alex crashed yesterday morning in the rain session? You know, everyone said, well, why is he out there doing that? I mean, you know, it doesn't count for qualifying. Now imagine it differently. Imagine if Alex had gone quickest in the rain, and like what we've seen many years with Nick Doohan doing. You know, Kenny Roberts going into this championship for sure knows that he's got the upper hand so far. And all of a sudden we come to this race and they know that Honda's been trying to make adjustments and so on, reverting back to last year's engine, and going out there. Now imagine if Alex would have been fastest. Would that have put more pressure on Kenny Roberts? I think so. I think it would have put more pressure on a lot of people thinking that, well, Honda's made some improvements. It didn't work that way. He crashed, and now everybody looks at it the opposite way. Why is he out there riding so hard in the rain?
Well, if he was quickest in the rain and we have a full wet race, then ba-boom.
Yeah, and the